Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to my channel. We are at part 2 of my G.I. Joe Retro series review. In case you missed part 1, we have Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes that you can go and take a gander at. Otherwise, we're going to move on to Wave 2. Wave 2 is Scarlet, Destro, and Roadblock. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, here we go. Wave 2 of the G.I. Joe Retro series. I was very fortunate to find these. I just literally walked into one of my local Walmarts one morning and they were there. I hadn't previously checked anything like BrickSeek or anything like that to find it, but they were just there. Somebody had just put out a brand new case of them, so I picked up one of each. For those of you wondering, Destro and Roadblock are, I believe, packed 2 to a case, and Scarlet is at 1 per case. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if that's right. I don't remember how many actually came in the case, how many were hanging up. I know Scarlet's the one that's short pack, so if anybody knows, drop down in the comments how many's in a case. It's either 6 or 8, so I'm assuming that you have, maybe it's 4 Roadblocks, 3 Destros, and a Scarlet for 8, or maybe 3 Roadblocks, 2 Destros, and 1 Scarlet for 6. Anyway, so let's just jump into this. We have the Destro first up on the classic card back. You can see again, classic Hasbro logo. This is the 50th anniversary representation of Destro, and in my opinion, the best version of Destro that is out there. If you're going to own a modern version of Destro, this is the guy to own. Same thing with that standard card back. Quick little bio in multi-languages. Showing you the previous waves, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Baroness, and the current wave, Scarlet, Roadblock, Destro. Got your GIJoe.com listed, your legalese. Figures are, I believe, $12.93 before tax. At least that's how much they were at my local Walmart. Your mileage may vary depending on location. So we have Destro, slide him out of the way. Roadblock. Roadblock's a big boy. Of course, I wouldn't expect anything less. Same thing, classic card art, bio, showing his name is Marvin F. Hinton, not related to anyone living or dead. And finally, we have Scarlet, who is probably the one that most people are going to be wanting because it's the new sculpt for the head. Again, that same classic card art to mirror the vintage version, bio on the back. Shauna M. O'Hara. Or is it O'Hara? I believe it's O'Hara. Cards are pretty flimsy for the most part. I mean, it's not as rigid as like the 25th ones were, but it's still nice. It's a nice throwback. Noticed with Roadblock, before we take him out of the package, Roadblock is sporting a miniaturized head of the classified version. So it doesn't really match up with the picture on the card art. But as we noted with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, Hasbro really doesn't seem to care that much about matching the card art. So we've got these guys right here in their packages, but I think we need to tear them out of their plastic prisons and take a look at them. So let's do that. Okay, so here we are. We have Destro, Weapons Supplier, Intelligence, Scarlet, Heavy Gunner, Roadblock. So these figures, I put them lined up like this so you can kind of get an idea of scale. You can see that Destro and Roadblock are coming in at about the same height. Scarlet's significantly shorter, as should be. So let's jump into these figures one at a time and talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start out with Roadblock. So we have Roadblock. Solid figure. Again, first thing you notice is that head is set to match the Classified Series Roadblock, which I'm okay with. If you're wanting to do some sort of continuity, then I'm completely okay with that. I will say, though, if you're trying to do retro, it does kind of smack that in the face because Classified's the newest line. It's not really retro. But as I pointed out in my Snake Eyes Storm Shadow review, retro is kind of a misnomer in most of these cases because these are all modern figs, not classic, what I think of as retro back 82 to 94. That being said, this is an almost complete reuse of the 50th anniversary Roadblock, modern era Roadblock, just with a new head. But it's a solid figure. I say that because you can't really go wrong with it for $13. Last time we saw this body was the I think it was in the San Diego Comic-Con Hasbro package that they gave away. I can't remember what year that was, 2017, 2018. That had like the Mask figures and G.I. Joe. It basically had all those Hasbro IPs. Jetfire as another one, but it was a huge pack, and Roadblock was in it, and I think the head they used in that came from the had an alternate head that was from the Renegade cartoon series, I believe. Correct me in the comments. I always like to be told when I'm wrong. It's fun. But Roadblock comes with, stand him right there. He does a really good job of standing on his own, so that's nice. Roadblock comes with Ma Deuce, a Browning. So nice. Detachable, or I can just drop it. Comes apart, so you might have saw it in the package. Comes apart into 3 pieces. Easy to put together, take apart. Get this back up here so you can see it. Ammo clip, or ammo belt, rather. Then he comes with his saw. Again, I'm not a military person, so you can correct me in the comments, but excellent weapon to have for him. A little smaller, but gets the job done. And finally comes with a stand. So pretty typical. Overall, great figure. Has the typical articulation. Doesn't have an ankle swivel, but does have bends at the knees, the hips, waist rotation, elbows, arms, head. Can turn up and down a little bit. But yeah, there he is. I'll give you a close-up of his face so you can see him there. It's really good sculpt, really good detail. So yeah, there's Roadblock. Let's move on to, let's just do Scarlet. It's probably the one most people are interested in anyway. So, Scarlet, a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. I do not know why. First of all, the first thing I noticed with this figure was not necessarily the head sculpt, which is, we're going to get to that in a minute, but this gloved hand does not match any Scarlet that has ever been made. Yeah, because she doesn't have gloves that are short like that. They're normally up the forearm. So they changed that around. I think someone pointed out on the forums or somewhere on social media that this is a partial Helix body, which it may be. I do not have a Helix figure anymore, so I do not know if that's accurate. It definitely seems, it's definitely not Lady J, and it's definitely not Scarlet's body. So if it's Helix, then good on them. But yeah, main thing everybody's going to look at here is the head sculpt. So let's get that in there into view so you can see it. Eyes look a little funky on here, not terrible. But this is the first time we've seen, no, it's not the first time we've seen a ponytail. But unlike the original figure that didn't have a ponytail, they actually have one sculpted on here. It's nice, kind of blocks that peg hole. But this is definitely a better head sculpt than the 25th. I do like also that she's shorter. I'm not saying all females are short, but I mean, it's weird to see females that are the same height as their male counterparts all the time from the figures they've done. But yeah, solid figure. Again, I don't know what to think of this. This is a gray bodysuit. I mean, there's technically nothing wrong with it. It's Scarlet. She's in her classic outfit, but something about it just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. It might just be those gloved hands. Everything else is, I mean, it's not a bad figure. I just don't know what about it's bothering me. Let's go into what she comes with accessory-wise. So, accessory-wise, we'll go backwards this time. Nameplate, foot stand. Web gear. This was an interesting choice. I'm not sure why they gave her this. I don't recall her ever wearing web gear in the cartoon or in the comics. Matter of fact, I think this is Cobra Trooper web gear. So, I don't know. That's very strange. She comes with a backpack for her arrows. Let's just put that on there, see what it looks like. Because I know I noticed that her hair was going to be in the way. But maybe it'll... Okay. We can deal with that. That's not bad. Okay, so we got that. Put that in there. And then she's got her crossbow. So, not too shabby. Let's put that in her hand. I'm going to assume that she's right-handed. Definitely has the trigger finger molded onto that one, so what do we think about that? Look good, bad? What do you think? Leave a comment. That's not too shabby. So, there we go. Scarlet. Pointing her crossbow to the sky. And finally, Mr. James McCullen. What was it? James McCullen, like the 14th or 15th? I don't remember. Destro by any other name. Again, if you're going to have a figure in your series, Destro's the man to have, or this version of Destro, rather, is the one to have. So, great figure, 50th anniversary representation once again on retro card, as you saw earlier. Solid figure. This is probably my favorite of the three. I think it looks great. And he comes with, let's see, where'd I put his stuff? Destro comes with a case. And inside that case, if I can open it without spilling everything, is a gun that you put together. Now, the 50th anniversary figure also came with this. I do not know why, though. I don't recall Destro ever having a gun like this. So let's just dump it out real quick. And let's figure out what we can do with this bad boy. See if we can put it together while I'm filming. Probably not going to do a great job, but we'll try it. So we need to find the scope. Okay. Stand. Got it. And butt of the gun. So there you go. That's what's inside the case. Excellent. Actually, there's another piece in here too. Can anybody tell me what this is or what this is supposed to represent? Because I have no idea. Is it... I mean, seriously, I have no idea what this is. It has two peg holes in the bottom, but that's how it clips into the case. The case has these peg holes up here. If this is part of the gun, then I'm just a silly sod that doesn't know what exactly it does. But anyway, drop me a comment. Tell me what it is. So let me put this gun in his hand. He has a trigger finger on his right. Everybody in the G.I. Joe universe must be right-handed. Oops, just snap that off. So let's get that in his hand real quick. Oi. Okay, there, snapped it off. And doing great there. Doing great. Okay, let's plug that back in. Try not to break. Okay, there we go. So there we go. Destro with his whatever gun that is. Leave me a comment. I actually would like to know. And I'm not near my computer, so I can just quickly look it up. So I'm going to set Destro back down. Unfortunately, I liked my last video. I liked being able to do comparisons. Unfortunately, the only person I have to compare this Destro to is another Destro. So let me angle this down a little bit. And let's see. Where's he at? Right here. So here is the 50th anniversary Destro for comparison. So here we go. First things you're going to notice, I'm going to try to get them as close as I can to each other. Things of note, the chest color on both of them is different. A little more of, I guess, yellowish skin. Some people used to think this was a shirt underneath. I never really thought that. I always thought he was just bare-chested. Versus this one, it's a little more flesh tone. The reds are clearly different. This is kind of, I would call, a more cartoony version, maybe versus a more real-life version. He has, as was typical with the 50th anniversary, they have the Cobra insignia. Can't get that to focus very well, but it's there. There you go. But they did a lot more on the retro version as far as detail. And if I can get these both up here. On the 50th anniversary, they just went with straight red grenades on his wrist gauntlets. Versus they highlighted them with silver on this one. And you'll also notice that the gauntlets overall on the on the 50th version are black versus silver on the retro version. And if we spin him around, you'll notice they hit him with a lot more highlights with the gray in the boots and in the... sorry, this guy's got a really loose waist. The grays in the boots and the bandolier, gray on the retro version versus black on the 50th. And then as we turn him around profile right, again, you can see that they actually left the rockets red on both of them, but that gauntlet, once again, is silver on the retro versus black on the 50th. Kind of went with that brighter paint, oddly enough, on the 50th, but not on the retro one. Whenever we just talked about earlier, the color being different in color. That's hard for me to say, being from the Midwest. But yeah, so there's a nice little quick comparison of the two. Also right up there, you can see the whatever you want to call this. To me, it looks like some sort of radio. Is silver on here, and on this one they've kind of just painted it in but gave it a little black highlight. Also, his belt is gray versus black on the 50th anniversary. The eyes are slightly different. You'll notice that they just seem to be black on the retro version. On the modern 50th anniversary, they seem to have actual... It's hard to see in here, but they look more like pupils versus this one. It just looks like a straight... Well, actually, no, that looks pretty... I don't know. What do you think? I think they both look pretty good. Also notice that the necklace on both these guys, it's kind of just painted all red here versus on the retro, they tried making it silver like a diamond, or not a diamond, but a ruby in the middle. I like that a lot more. So yeah, like I said, I don't really have a Scarlet or a Roadblock that's comparable to show as a compare and contrast. I just happen to have the Destro that I was able to find because he's with my Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. So yeah, let me get him out of the way and let's just do some quick final thoughts on Retro Wave 2. Great figures overall. Again, if you're just getting into G.I. Joe, I think you can't go wrong. $13 for these figures, 13 each, isn't too bad. You're going to have a hard time finding Scarlet, but Destro and Roadblock should be pretty easy to find and definitely would make a great addition to your modern G.I. Joe collection if you're into the 3 3/4, 4-inch scale. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you guys back here in the next video. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment if you want to tell me something good, bad, or different. But next video will be up hopefully very shortly. And I'll move these guys out of the way so you can have a sneak preview of what's going to happen. So, as we've done the figures, the one thing we have not necessarily done yet are the vehicles. And we are going to be doing the vehicles in the next video. The next video will have the Cobra Hiss and the Awe Striker, which includes Crankcase and Cobra Hiss Driver. So, with that, I'm Mark. I appreciate you guys coming by today. Have a good one.